There we go. So everyone come to standing. Let's start with Tadasana, mountain pose. So I'd like for you all to come around and watch me. So if you could all come over here to the side and watch me from the side. I'm going to stand with my big toes touching, heels together, and roll my thighs in order to soften my inner groin. So the inner groin rolls in. And then receive my belly back toward my spine to lengthen the low back. From there, I'm going to press my heels down and lift the crown of my head up. And come on out. Tadasana. Okay, so come back to your mats. And touch your big toes together, and then your heels together as well. Press down into your heels to lift up the top of your head toward the ceiling. And then roll your inner thighs, roll your thighs in to soften the inner groin. And then move your belly back toward your spine, just to lengthen your low back. But keep pressing your heels down and lifting up the crown of your head, lifting up through the top of your head. And release. Come on out. And come watch me one more time. I'm going to show you one more thing.
Genevieve, I have a question. When you say pull your tummy in, do you really mean that?
Yes, yeah. So
it's not so much just that, but because I have a sway back, so I'm always.
So what I'm saying is, feet together, roll your thighs in, and then receive your belly back as your tailbone drops down. You see how that happens? But you have to keep your thighs rolling in at the same time, so you don't end up here. This is what happens if you don't roll your thighs in. Do you see what I'm saying with that? So the thighs need to roll in, and then you receive your belly back. And the part I want to add is to reach through your arms strongly in order to lift up your chest. And when you reach your arms down, then you can find that lift in the side ribs. Does that make sense? All right, let's try it. Let's do. So touch your toes together. Touch your heels together. And press your heels down and lift up through the top of your head. So it feels like someone's pulling a string up from the top of your head to the ceiling. You're a marionette. And then roll your thighs in, but recede, bring your belly gently back. See, I didn't say suck your belly back. I said gently recede the belly back as the tailbone moves down. And we're going to bring in the arms. I know it's a lot, so breathe. Inhale. Reach your arms down toward the floor and lift your chest up. And release. Come on out. That look better. That look better. So don't lose it now, though, Jerry. Stay there. Forever. Forever. Okay. So what we've been working on, and we'll talk about maybe a little bit later, is working through the side body this week. Okay, and finding the lift in this raise muscle. So we'll talk about that a little later. After class, we're going to talk about that. So I'd like to teach you downward facing dog now. So what I'll do is just turn my mat so you can see me from the side. I bring my hands to shoulder width apart, underneath my shoulders, knees underneath my hips. And then I walk my hands forward away from my legs. I'm going to tuck my toes and come back to downward facing dog. And I'm going to come on out. All right, so your turn. Your turn. So come onto your hands and knees. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And then walk your hands forward away from your knees.
Walk your hands away.
Yeah, walk hands away from knees, that's right. And now spread your fingers wide. Press your whole hand down. So the pinky side and your thumb side, press it down. And then tuck your toes and press back to downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your knees. Good, that's good. Okay, and now that you're here, press your hands down, the whole hand, spread your fingers, and press your outer thighs back in order to lengthen through your spine, to lengthen your spine. Press your top thighs back, and open through the backs of your knees to open up through your hamstrings. And bring your knees down to the floor. And come on out. Okay, come on up to seated. I'm going to demonstrate one more thing. That was better.
I can't tell when my hips are over my knees. You know, I don't know if I'm a little forward or a little back.
That dog looked a little long.
Yeah, it felt a little long.
You had a little long. It was a little long. One of those long dogs.
Yeah, right.
But it looked good because you could get your thighs back. So I bring it in just a little bit, but the action of your arms and legs look really good. Okay? And this time I might bring you up onto the bricks under your hands and see if that feels any better for you. All right? So this time we're going to work even more on the action of the legs. So again, I set up like this, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. I walk my hands forward, tuck my toes and press back. And again, I'm just going to press firmly down through my palms and lengthen back, pressing my top thighs back any amount more to stretch out the backs of my legs.
It also looks like you're pressing your chest toward your knees.
Well, don't do too much of that.
Okay.
Don't do too
No,
much of
actually,
that.
okay.
As we come into it this time, you're mentioning something really important, and that's the movement of the arm. And this is something we should talk about because, you know, some of you and myself have shoulder problems. So when you're coming into the pose, you want to make sure, and I guess the best angle for this would be this way, is I need to turn my outer arm back and the inner arm forward. Did you see how I did that? That's the safe action for the rotator cuff. This is not the safe action. Look at the shoulders, look at the elbows. The safe action is when I turn the outer arm back and the inner arm forward. And that's going to support the external rotation of the shoulder, which is the correct action for the healthy functioning of the rotator cuff. Okay? Does that make sense? You heard some of that in PT.
No, I actually haven't, or I don't remember if I did.
That's going to be important for you, as is for me, because I have rotator cuff inflamed bursa. So go ahead, come on into the pose. A few things to think about this time, and I'm going to bring you up on blocks now.
Okay.
John, I'm going to bring your mat up here. I'm going to move your mat against the wall so these bricks don't slip. And you're gonna bring your hands up onto these bricks when we come up into the downward dog. Okay? So go ahead and remember your knees under your hips, your hands underneath your shoulders. And then walk your hands forward. Walk your hands forward. You're going to bring your hands onto your bricks. Walk your knees forward a little more. There, that's good. And then go ahead from there. See if you can find the external rotation of the shoulder. Outer arm back, inner arm forward. And tuck your toes, press back down to face the dog. And that might be easier. There. Now press your hands down and reach your hips up and back. Back through your hips. There. Reach the hips up and back more. One more. One more. That's it. Good. Good, Joan. How does that feel on the shoulder? Okay, now press your hands down on your body. Reach your hips up and back any amount more. Keep reaching them up and back. Keep going. Keep going. There. Okay. Take a deep inhalation. Keep rolling the outer arm back, inner arm forward, and release. Come on out. Okay, good. And we're going to come on up to standing. And this time, we're going to line up the mats so they two against the wall. Let's actually do everyone against the wall. Short edge against this wall right here. Everyone bring your mat short edge up against this wall right here. And we're going to practice tree pose. And because we did it last time and some of us had some issues with balance, we're going to do it against the wall. So watch me. I'm going to use right here, and you can come on watch me from the side over here. And I use the walls for support. So I come into Tadasana mountain pose. And from there, I bring one arm up the wall and one foot up to the inner thigh. Keep reaching the arm, and then bring the other arm up. And maybe bringing the hand away. Your turn. If the foot doesn't go up to the inner thigh, you can bring the foot to the shin or to the top of the standing leg, standing foot. Okay, so come and stand, I would say, come and stand about 4 or 5 inches away from the wall. Come and stand 4 or 5 inches away from the wall. Bring your right arm up the wall for balance. Actually, we should start in Tadasana. So bring the arm down. There. So find Tadasana first. So have your toes touching, heels touching. Press your heels down. Reach the crown of your head up. So press the heels down to lengthen your spine. Roll your shoulders down and back to lift up your chest. And then bring your right arm up the wall for balance. And bring the left foot either to the right inner thigh, to the right shin, or onto the top of the right foot. And once you've found that, press your left foot into the right leg and reach your other arm up toward the ceiling. Turn your palms towards each other. And just like in Tadasana, press your right heel down and lift the crown of your head up to extend your spine and lift your chest any amount more. And release. Come on out. Good. And let's do the other side. So turn, left foot, about 4 inches away from the wall. Much further. Like 6. No, like 10.
Yeah. Because the balance is better.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can come away from the wall, being further is a bit better. You know what I mean? If you're
Yeah, I
staying on
don't
the
have to
wall,
stay. I
being
don't have to.
Yeah. So you can pull away. So maybe being a bit farther is better.
Okay.
So come on into Tadasana. Touch your big toes together, heels together. Press your heels down. Lift the crown of your head up to extend your spine. Roll your shoulders down and back. in order to support the lift of your chest. And then bring your left arm up the wall. And bring your right foot to the inside of the left leg, inside the left shin, or onto the left foot. So the only place that foot shouldn't be is on the knee. Get it above or below the knee and have the right toes pointing down toward the floor. Point the right toes down toward the floor.
Are they?
It's there. It's there.
Because I think I can look.
Yes, there, that's it, that's it. Now reach up through the left arm. Now bring the right arm up. Bring the right arm up. If you can, come away from the wall and balance. If you can't, stay right where you are. Now, press down into the left heel to reach the crown of your head up, to lift and lengthen your spine any amount more. And press down into the left heel to lift the chest any amount more away from the foot, away from the floor. And release. Come on out.
I do this better at home. Is that because the
Yeah.
carpet over there?
Oh yeah. So it's an extra challenge.
Yeah.
So it's an extra challenge. So something that I noticed, you know, with you coming into the pose was you were coming into the pose nicely. You could watch me from the side. So come to this, yeah, for this side, whichever. Yeah. Is when you came up, this knee was coming forward, okay? And what needs to happen with the legs is for that leg, the hip to open. So I press my right foot into the left thigh to open the hip. Did you see how I opened that hip up? So let's try that again. The one place not to put the foot is on the knee. The knee does not move out to the side. So either below or above the knee, but not on the knee joint. So let's start again. That's right. Right foot 6 to 10 inches away from the wall. And find your Tadasana. So toes together, heels together. Press your heels down to lift the crown of your head up. Roll your shoulders back and down to support the lift of your chest and extend your spine. Bring your left foot to the top of the right foot, inner shin or upper thigh. Here you go. Bring your right arm up the wall. Right arm up the wall. Now, while you're here, press the left foot into the right leg to open the hip. That's it, Joan. Good. Good. Press the foot into the leg to open the hip. There. And now bring the other arm up toward the ceiling. That looks so much better, everyone. That looks better. Turn the palms towards each other if you can. Press the heel down to lift the chest up, to lift the crown of your head up. Keep pressing the foot into the leg. Now see if you can find the same action, the arms as downward dog. Roll the outer arm forward, inner arm back, and lift any amount more through the chest. And release. Come on up. Beautiful. Beautiful. Other side. Tadasana, toes together, heels together. Press your heels down. Roll your thighs in. Receive your belly back toward your spine. And lift the top of your head up toward the ceiling. Bring the left arm onto the wall, left arm up the wall, right foot onto the arch, inner shin or upper thigh of the left leg. Now bring the right arm up, press the left heel down, lift the crown of the head up, lift up through the chest. Press the right foot into the left leg to open up through the right hip any amount more. To open the right hip up. Good, that's it. Now, find the arms, the same actions in downward dog. Roll the outer arm forward, inner arm back so that the palms face each other. And reach any amount more up and release. Come on out. Beautiful. Okay, so stay where you are. You can come to the front of your mats. We're going to work on Utkatasana, powerful or chair pose, Utkatasana. So watch me. I come back to Tadasana, same actions as mountain pose. And from there, I'm going to reach my arms up toward the ceiling. Same action of the arms as we've been doing, palms face each other. And sit back into chair pose. And come on out. Okay, so your turn. Toes together, heels together. Come into Tadasana. Press your heels down, lift the crown of your head up to lengthen your spine. Turn your thighs in, but recede your belly back toward the spine as the tailbone drops. And then reach your arms up toward the ceiling, palms face each other. Extend up through your arms. And go ahead and come into chair pose. Bend the knees, come into chair pose, sit into your chair. Now keep the heels pressing to keep the chest lifting. Keep the heels pressing down to lift the chest up. Reach the arms up any amount more. And come on up to standing. Okay, good. So what I noticed was some of you were coming into the pose, reaching your arms up, finding good length in the lift of the chest, but coming down so that the chest was reaching forward. Do you see? Mm-hmm. You were reaching forward. And this causes strain in the neck and in the low back. Okay?
Well, no, I want to know. Okay. Okay.
When I tried to reach my arms higher, it put strain on my lower back.
So here's what we're going to do. How's your back right now?
It's okay. I mean, it was just a tiny.
So we're going to practice this time with the hands on the waist. Okay, so watch me, and we're going to practice coming straight down with a straight spine, and this time the low back should be okay. So I bring my toes and my heels together. Okay, come into Tadasana again. And when I come into it, so watch me first, I'm going to keep my spine straight and bend my knees. Okay, so I'm not reaching forward, you see? But my weight is really in my knee, in my heels, and the chest is lifted.
Whoa, that makes a huge difference.
Okay, so it's not about reaching forward, and you're going to go to yoga classes where you see everybody reaching forward and their low backs
Yeah.
are going to hurt, so let's try it this way.
I can't go down.
So maybe you can't go down as far.
Yeah.
But isn't that better than going
Absolutely.
on your back?
Absolutely.
So one of the other things you want to watch for is that your knees don't pass your toes. So if you look down, make sure that your knees are not passing over your toes. That'll keep your knees safe. So let's go ahead. We're going to start. We'll come into it together. So have the fingertips forward, and that way the shoulders can roll back in. Now this way is an internal rotation of the shoulder. And you always have to work on the external rotation. So come on into Tadasana. Press your heels down and lift up through the top of your head. Roll your thighs in and recede your belly back toward your spine to drop the tailbone. But keep your legs straight, Susan. There, that's it. That's it. Roll your shoulders down and back. Lift up your chest in order to roll the shoulder blades down to lift the chest up, because you're going to keep your chest lifted. Inhale, exhale, sit back into your heels. Into your heels like you're water skiing. There, that's it. There. And make sure that your knees are not passing your toes. You can still see your toes. So now that you're here, keep pressing your hands down, lift your chest up, and press your way into your heels, but relax your face. Roll your shoulders back and down. Come on, you can come into it further than that. Come on, come on. There. And come on out. Okay. Better. Much better.
Doesn't feel like much.
It doesn't feel like much.
You know what I mean? It just feels like, okay.
If I try to go down further, I have to push my stomach out to balance myself.
Okay, so maybe I'll keep it on while we talk about that. This time when you come into the pose, that's a good question. What needs to happen is this. I want to watch my outer thighs this time. I'm going to reach my arms up, when I find Tadasana. Really important, it also is your shoulder blades coming down to lift the chest up. Yeah? And I reach my arms up, and then I come down, come down, what you need to see is that the outer thigh rolls down. You see? So you were here, Jerry. You have to work on the outer thigh. Do you see how that rolled down that time? And then reaching up and lifting the chest. So it's not here, it's here. And then I can really come down. And I'm still not hurting my back. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I usually say roll the thighs in. When you come down, the outer thigh needs to roll out slightly to counterbalance. So toes together, heels together. One last time. That's hard. That's hard. Toes together, heels together. Press your heels down, lift the crown of your head. Roll your shoulders back and down. The shoulder blades support the lift in the chest. There. Reach your arms up toward the ceiling. Palms face each other. Now inhale and exhale, sit back into the heels. You're sitting into a chair. So find the pose. There. Good. Okay, now that you're here, stretch the arms, reach up to your fingertips, lengthen, lift the chest, but roll the outer thigh down, Jerry. Do you see what I'm saying? Outer thigh down. There. Press into your heels and come on up to standing. Did that make sense?
Okay. Did you feel it that time?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm used to thinking of it as a kind of thigh strengthener,
Right.
and so,
And not keeping.
and not